Hi everyone, it is alenajingle, and today I'm here with a video about my favorite names from the book Adam Bede by George Eliot. So I don't know if you might call this a series or what, but I've been reading a lot of great books lately with a lot of amazing names in them, and so I thought I absolutely had to share either names that I thought were really fascinating or interesting, or ones that are just my favorites. I read the book Adam Bede during the fall and winter of 2015. It is an absolutely beautiful book. It took me a long time to read because a lot of the characters' dialects are written exactly how they sound when they say them, so written phonetically, so it kind of takes more time to read it. And by the time I was done with it, it was so amazing that I almost wished I had time to go start it over and read it quicker so I could put it together more easily. But it's an absolutely wonderful book. I highly recommend it. Today I'm going to be talking about 14 names from the book in alphabetical order, and the first name from the book Adam Bede that I would like to talk about is Adam. So I'm not going to go into too many details about the name Adam because I have spoken about it 2 times before. One time in my video series that I just made about less popular alternatives to the top 100 boy names in the US. Adam is in the top 100 boy names right now. I will link that below. And then several years ago I talked about names that you might find surprising that I love, and Adam was on that list. The reason I want to talk about Adam is because Adam Bede is the main character of the story, and they talk to him a lot, and he is called by his family members Addy, which I found super sweet. And so I just thought I'd bring it up because I think if you are one of those people who is still using the name Adam, that you might consider that as a nickname. I think it is super adorable, and it's really overused on girls right now. There are lots of girl names that start with AD that are quite popular. And so it would be really fresh and unexpected to see a little boy named Addy in 2016. The second name I would like to talk to you about today is Adolphus. The character Reverend Adolphus Irvine is the Reverend in the story, of course. Adolphus is a Latin name that means noble wolf. The character is a very positive association. What fascinated me about his name is that they called him Dauphin as a nickname. Dauphin, which I had never seen, but I thought would fit in really well in 2016 because 2-syllable boy names ending in N are super in and super popular right now. I know some people won't find the name Adolphus usable because it is from the same roots as the name Adolf. I personally think it is usable just because it does have quite a different sound from Adolf, and there are plenty of nickname options for him to go by. The next name I'd like to talk to you about is Alick, with this spelling. Alick is the name of one of the shepherds in Adam Bede, and I had never seen this spelling of Alick before, and I looked it up, and it's just the Scottish form of Alec, A-L-E-C, which is a form of Alexander, of course. And there is a character named Alick with this spelling in the book The Old Curiosity Shop by Charles Dickens. What do you guys think of Alick with this spelling? Let me know in the comments below. The next name I want to talk to you about is Arthur, and I have talked about this name in other videos before too because I absolutely adore this name. Arthur Donnithorne is one of the main characters of the story. Not the best character, but because the characters in this book are so well developed, almost all of them are extremely lovable even when you know all of their faults. So it still makes me love the name. Arthur is a name I've loved my whole life. I actually had a pet named Arthur when I was younger, so that's one of the reasons that I don't think I could ever use it, but I just think it's an absolutely gorgeous name. It's currently ranked at 306 in the top 1,000 boy names, and yeah, I just think it's an absolutely gorgeous name. The next name I want to talk to you guys about is Bartholomeus. There is a character in this story named Bartholomeus Massey. I think that name is absolutely gorgeous. It's a Latin form of Bartholomew. Obviously, it's not one you ever see almost ever, especially in modern day US. And what is even more fascinating about this name is the nickname. He goes almost exclusively by the name Bartle, B-A-R-T-L-E, which I actually found super adorable. And I know a lot of people say I don't want to use Bartholomew because I don't like the name Bart, and there are so many other nickname options you could go for, like Bartle. Next name I want to bring up to you guys from Adam Bede is Carroll, with this spelling. Carroll is the name of a servant mentioned several times in this book. He's a servant to the Reverend Irvine that I mentioned earlier. I actually go to church with a Carroll who is in his upper 80s, and because I already have a wonderful association with it, I actually really do like it on a guy. And this could be a name to honor a Charles or a Carl or a Carla, any of those names. And Carol for a girl is extremely dated right now, so it would definitely be fresher on a boy in 2016. The next name I want to talk to you guys about is Charlotte, and I'm not going to go into detail about the name Charlotte because it's number 10 in the US right now for popularity, so it's a name that is being brought up a lot and seen a lot. The character in this book is named Charlotte Poyser, and she is a toddler little girl brought up a lot, and what I find fascinating is that they call her Totty as a nickname, T-O-T-T-Y. I think most parents in the US in 2016 using the name Charlotte are planning on calling their daughter Charlie as a nickname. My personal favorite nickname for Charlotte is Lottie, but Totty, if you love the name Charlotte but want some way to make it less popular, you could call her Totty as a nickname, which I find super, super adorable. The next name that I want to talk to you guys about from Adam Bede is Dinah. I absolutely love the name Dinah. Dinah Morris is another one of the main characters in the story. She is a Methodist preacher in the early 1800s, very rare and extremely wholesome and selfless and just a beautiful, beautiful person. In the Old Testament in the Bible, Dinah is the name of Jacob's only daughter. He has 12 sons and 1 daughter. They recently made a mini-series about Dinah, a TV exclusive miniseries, and they pronounce her name Dinah in that, which I do like too. I just find Dinah a lot prettier personally. Dinah is a name that I honestly could absolutely use if my husband liked it. I just think it's stunning, and I have met only one little girl with this name before. Do you guys like the name Dinah, or have you ever met any Dinahs? Let me know in the comments below. My number 9 name that I want to mention is one that I had never seen before reading this book, and that is Gawain. Gowen is a young nobleman, friend of Arthur in the book. It's possibly his surname. He never mentions his last name, so it could be that he's calling him by his last name only. I'm not sure. But I did mention the name Gowen very briefly in one of my more recent videos because Gowen is the name that Gavin comes from. It is a Welsh name that means Mayhawk. Gowen is also one of the names of one of the Knights of the Round Table in the Arthurian legend. It was also named Gawain, so that's a very cool association, and yeah, I could totally see this name being used. I think it's really cool. The next name from Adam Bede that I wanted to mention to you guys is Hester Sorrel. Hester Sorrel is the 4th main character of the story, and she goes almost exclusively by Hetty, H-E-T-T-Y, throughout the story. She is supposed to be the most beautiful person that anyone's ever seen, really, in the book, and she's another one that is possibly a negative association, but because the character is so developed, you find her very lovable as well. Hester is a name that's actually currently in my husband's top girl name combos as a middle name. It's a family name for me, and I actually read this story almost all the way through before realizing her name was Hester. I thought her name was Harriet with the nickname Hetty, which I adore as well. Hester is just an English form of Esther, which is a Persian name that means star. I think many people strongly associate the name Hester with the Scarlet Letter. That is the name of the main character from that book, and I actually really love that book, so it actually makes me like that even more. And the next name I have for you guys is super, super similar to the last one, and that is Kester. Kester is the name of a field hand in the book, and once again, it's possibly his surname. They don't mention his surname, so it could be that he's going by his surname. But I cannot believe I had never discovered this name before, because it's actually a Scottish form of Christopher, and I was so sad when I realized that, because I totally could have included it as a less popular alternative to the name Christopher in that series. I just did. But yeah, I think Kester is super adorable, and I would love to see this name used on a little boy in 2016. The next name from Adam Bede is LIsbeth Bede. LIsbeth is the name of Adam's mom in the story. LIsbeth is a German diminutive of Elizabeth, and can also be pronounced Lisbeth. I think Lisbeth is super crazy adorable, and Elizabeth is a family name in probably most English-speaking families in the US, and so Lisbeth would be a really great way to honor an Elizabeth as well. You might also associate the name Lisbeth with the main character from The Girl from the Dragon Tattoo books and movies. The next name I want to mention to you guys is Pym. This is a name of another field hand from that story, and it's once again possibly the man's surname. However, I found the name Pym really fascinating because it actually began as a nickname of William. So once again, if you have William in your family, which most people do in the US, this would be a really, really adorable and unexpected way to honor a William, and can also be spelled P-I-M. And the last name for this video is Matthias Bede. He doesn't actually appear in the story, but his name does quite a bit. Matthias Bede is the father of the main character, and this name I did just speak about in one of those videos that I keep mentioning, my less popular alternatives to the top 100 boy names, and I will link that in the description box below. But I wanted to include Matthias in this video because he once again goes almost exclusively by Thias as a nickname, which I found super, super adorable. Anyway, once again, this book is absolutely wonderful. I highly, highly suggest reading it. I would like to read it again sometime soon, honestly. It was that good. And yeah, let me know what you think of these names, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!